Very good morning to you. Today you've got Wayne sharing with you. Over the last couple of days, we've had the joy of meeting with Jeff, and then Meg and Nicola, and today you've got me as we continue in our little journey through this incredible book called Mark. And if you didn't know it, Mark was a real person. He was a chap that was closely linked to Peter and also later on possibly to Paul. And he was a guy that was really, really close to all of the action in Jesus' beginnings of his journey in public life. And I think that really comes through. I don't know whether you've picked up when you've looked at the readings that the ladies have brought over the last couple of days. But the action happens so quickly. Mark doesn't hang about at all, and he really is a man on a mission as he tries to pack in as much information as he possibly can. Now, the little Bible that I've got in front of me, it's amazing just to see how many events that he packs in. And today that sort of theme continues. Oh, well, good morning to you, Meg, and good morning, Nick. It's great to know that you're watching this morning. And I think it's really important to recognize that right at the beginning, the very first verse of the whole book, Mark points to the good news of Jesus. Then in verse 14, he talks about the good news or the gospel of God. And that idea of good news is just so important. And in today's passage, maybe I could invite you to think about that good news as we read together. So I'm going to pick up this good news reading from Mark chapter 1 and beginning at verse 21. Good morning to Jolene as well. So this is the reading from Mark chapter 1, verse 21. And the NIV calls it Jesus heals a man with an unclean spirit. And just focus on that idea of what Mark is trying to push out to us and this idea of good news. And they went into Capernaum, and immediately on the Sabbath he entered the synagogue and was teaching. So two things there. Number one, the Sabbath, the idea of it being on a Saturday rather than a Sunday, the time when everybody came to church, their church being a synagogue. And the key thing is verse 22, and they were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one who had authority and not as the scribes. I think that's really interesting. A highly religious society, and people knew their Old Testament, and if I just lift up this little Bible here, pretty much 2/3 of it is related to this Old Testament, and people knew their Bible, their scriptures really well. And Jesus is this carpenter who comes from Nazareth. They don't know anything about him. He's a complete unknown. But as soon as Jesus opens his mouth, people start to listen. He taught them as one who had authority and not as the scribes. And the scribes were the religious professionals. Now Jesus walked into the room. He's the man in the room. And when he talks, people listen. And it's not just because he's good at TED Talks. It's because he has something to say as the God-man. And that's really important for us to understand. He is preaching something new and something fresh and something that people are listening to. And the results of that is immediate, verse 23. And immediately, that's what it says there was in the synagogue a man with an unclean spirit, and notice the volume here, and he cried out, "What have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." And you have a power play taking place straight away, a strong voice. What do you want with us? Look at Jesus' response, verse 25. But Jesus rebuked him, saying, "Be silent, and come out to him." You notice the difference in volume, and importantly, notice the difference again in authority. Be silent and come out, and the unclean spirit convulsing him and crying out with a loud voice came out. So what's the good news there? The good news is, number one, when Jesus speaks, people listen because he has something to say. And the good news here is that when Jesus says something and does something, things happen. The laws of nature bend, and evil itself, even evil, bows to the authority of Jesus. Verse 27, and they were all amazed, so that they questioned among themselves, saying, what is this? A new teaching with authority. He commands, and even the unclean spirit, and they obey him. And at once his fame spread everywhere, throughout all the surrounding region of Galilee. So there you have it. Jesus speaks, people listen. Jesus says, things happen. And that's good news for us today. And maybe as we walk through our day together, perhaps that's something that you and I could maybe think about. Lord, would you let me hear your voice? Lord, would you do stuff in my life? Lord, would you show me that the good news is real? That's going to be my prayer for today, and maybe that will be a great prayer for you all to have a think about. So, great to be with you this morning, and it's great to hear about the God-man Jesus and all that he did at that time and promises to do today. Join us tomorrow as I think Jeff will be picking up the next part of this incredible story of good news. So, good to see you, and see you in a few days' time. And also, great to see that Cass Woodington is watching this morning as well. So have a great day, everybody.